I'm here to show you just how easy it is to set a deposit limit on your Dabble account. Open up Dabble, head up to the gear symbol, top right, next to your balance. Then, middle of the screen, hit the responsible gambling section. Inside that, you'll find all our responsible gambling tools, like Take a Break or Self-Exclude. And right at the top, you'll see Set a Deposit Limit. Once you're there, set your limit, set a time frame, hit save, and it's that easy. Remember, if you are having a Dabble this basketball season, please do responsibly.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
This is the NBL's newest rivalry.
This is a big one. Championship rematch between Melbourne and Illawarra. Hawks have passed in. McGee get upstairs and said, get that out. Delaney down the middle.
Tipped it up.
Oh, dear me.
Golding pull up for three. It's money.
Here he goes again. Okay.
Harvey going 3 from 3 from outside. A massive game for both teams. It is set to be a nail-biter.
Sunday afternoon hoops coming to you from a sold-out John Cain Arena as we continue round 21 of the Hungry Jacks NBL. And the Illawarra Hawks come to town playing for pride. But we know a team with nothing to lose is a dangerous proposition. Well, for Melbourne United, they have so much still to play for as they try and find their very best form at the business end of the season. It's a big hello and welcome as it is to two of the all-time greats, Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker. And we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder, and we know for Melbourne the difference between 4th and 5th is significant.
It certainly is. It gives you a double chance, and Melbourne United not that far off it. The Perth Wildcats got a couple of tough games coming up, but in order for Melbourne United to overtake them, they need wins, and this is going to be a tricky assignment against an Illawarra Hawks team that have had ups and downs right throughout the season, but are dangerous if they can get it all together. And now they're playing for very, very little other than a bit of pride. Maybe they loosen up a little and make the challenge even more difficult for United.
Well, for Melbourne United, for the second game, they won't be have Coach Dean Vickerman available with the appendicitis. So Reece Carter, who is 1 from 1, will continue to take the reins of this team. And they got the win against Cairns. It wasn't convincing for 3 quarters, Derek, but that last quarter they started to find their best. What did you make of it?
Well, I thought Coach Carter did a good job in adjusting the lineups in that 4th quarter. It was a tough, gutsy come-from-behind victory for United. He should feel more comfortable today after having that victory under his belt. The hardest one to get through is the first one.
Well, they got their offense going in that 4th quarter. They had 33 points. It was their biggest 4th quarter score of the season. They shot the ball at over 50%, but they need more of that, Gazy, because they're still trying to find their best offensively.
100%, and that man on the screen right there was a big part of that last quarter turnaround. He took matters into his own hands, which he's been renowned for, particularly with the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers. Been a bit variable this season coming off the bench, but he found a way to get his team over the line. They were much-needed baskets, but Derek probably need to see a little bit more consistency throughout the game for Milton.
Sometimes he lets the circumstances dictate when he decides to go harder. I want him just to go hard, irrespective of what the gameplay is. And look, he'll be coming off the bench again today, but he needs to come in and provide microwave-type level energy.
Vinnie Johnson.
Now, their opponents today, the Illawarra Hawks, we've spoken about them. They cannot make the play-in, but they will love nothing more than to cause an upset at home. They are just the 4th ever defending champs to miss finals the following season. We're coming off a big loss against Sydney. What have you made of them?
Well, they've kind of had a free swing at it this year, and yes, they've had some problems early on with their players coming and going, and certainly form and injury has played a big part of that, but that's been the case with a lot of teams, and I just don't think they've had the balance right with their squad this season, and they've been playing catch-up from very early on and haven't been able to catch up.
Well, part of the team today, Steph Formgardle, she's courtside.
Thanks, Joey. We've got an unfortunate Unfortunate update on Shea Ely today. The club has confirmed that he's done his 4th hamstring injury for the season. It is a low-grade injury to his left side, so the opposite side of his most recent injury. But he's done 2 on each side this season, so must be incredibly frustrating for him. Also disappointing for the club, given he is, of course, the reigning defensive player of the year there. So the good news is, being a low-grade injury, that with a well-timed fever break, he should be available to return for them early on during finals. And then on the other side for the Illawarra Hawks, JaVale McGee, he was a game-time decision with some knee soreness. He is playing, but the mail is he's starting on the bench.
Thank you, Steph. Certainly is. We take a look at the starting fives. We saw JaVale McGee. He will come off the bench, as will Milton Doyle. The teams are ready. Let's get this one underway. Round 21, Hungry Jacks NBL. As we said off the top, a full house here. Looking forward to this one. It'll be Jesse Edwards going up against Froling. And Melbourne United will start with the ball. Dash Daniels will continue to take his place in the starting lineup. And straight away, he turns the ball over. Good hands from Tyler Harvey.
Just don't understand why JaVale McGee is not starting in the contest today. There's 10,000 people here. Their season's over. They want to see JaVale McGee play, and they see him sitting on the bench to start this one.
Well, I feel you, Drew. He's such a great spectacle as Walker knocks down a mid-range jumper to get United off the mark. But Joey, I love the twin tower possibilities with Froling and McGee, and time's ticking on the season.
Especially with JaVale McGee, the form he's had against Melbourne United this year, he's averaged 27.5 points and 12 rebounds in the 3 outings. As Jesse Edwards has had his hands full with McGee, but on that occasion, he got upstairs. As Daniels looks to be aggressive again, and that's a nice start for his confidence.
And a good bounce back after a turnover on the first play of the game. He goes straight back at him and gets into the paint for an easy one.
Are you happy with Milton Doyle still coming off the bench for Dash?
Not at all. I think Milton Doyle should be the starter, and whoever you want to take out from there, you live with it. But Harvey's really struggling right now, and he finally gets Daniels to commit a little bit of body as Harvey was lifting up to shoot the J.
Yeah, he got him off his feet. We look at the Amy replay. Wow. Sam Froling, that's Edwards. And Melbourne United, they are one of the elite. In fact, they're number 2 in block shots on the season. So they, defensively, with all the metrics, they're really good. 2nd in the league in steals per game, 2nd in the league blocks per game, 2nd in defensive rating.
Yeah.
They just go through periods where, for whatever reason, they can't score.
Well, it's happened at the wrong phase of the season also, which has been in the last 3 to 4 rounds. And you want your offense and defense to be finding rhythm and clicking at this stage. But that's not the case for United on the offensive end, Joey.
No, it'll be 3 free throws for Tyler Harvey. Speaking about finding a rhythm and offense, his last 7 games, he's really found his. Shooting almost 50% free ball, averaging over 17 points a game.
Well, his numbers are basically back on what he's had throughout his career. Decent clip this season as well, 43% from the field, 38 from threes. But it probably hasn't reflected the consistency he has. It's Daniels! Now you look at his numbers, the 3 ball, it's not a picture-perfect stroke, but the percentages from the 3-point line on the season have been healthy for Dash Daniels.
Being aggressive offensively, as is this man all season long, QJ Peterson, who's had a couple of quiet games, his last 2. And we know what he can do offensively. Good start to this one, high quality. Edwards. Can't get that to go, although Peatling will turn it over. And now Finn Delaney. He comes up short. Finn Delaney's another one who's got a terrific record against the Hawks this season in his 3 outings. Good matchups everywhere. Here's Lonnie Swikel the bullet. He's going to go head-to-head with Chris Golding. And again, Jesse Edwards swats it away for the 2nd time. Harvey knew the shot clock was expiring.
Edwards impressive early on the defensive end.
And found in transition, got the body contact and the tough finish.
Good hands there by Jesse Edwards, running the lane after rejecting the shot on the other end, and Daniels Good rhythm there. Got his feet set, raised up, knocked it down. QJ Peterson early on. Both teams finding the mark from the three-point line.
And what about the control of Edwards in the transition? Just read the bump, kissed it off the glass softly with the left hand. Impressive move by the big fella in transition.
High scoring early. And the thing Melbourne need to be careful about is they are the worst defensively in terms of limiting three-point percentage from their opponents.
Which is odd given they're across the board.
Correct.
They've been pretty good in most defensive areas. Good on the glass as well.
Delaney off and running. Walker had space, so fired away. And Melbourne shooting the lights out to start. They're 5 of 7 from the field.
And I like the way Walker's come out. Obviously, with the injury to Shea Ely, he carries a lot more responsibility. But I've always maintained that he needed to be the primary playmaker for this team.
Tyler Harvey can't get that to go. 1 of 4 from deep for the Hawks to start. Walker gonna go again. Why not? When you're hot, you're hot. And Melbourne are scorching to start this one.
And Drew, I love how he senses the moment. He understands there's an opportunity to seize early momentum. Gets that drag screen, does what he can do, and really knocks down that three ball.
And he felt the contact. Right there, he knew that there was a bit of contact, took the odds that he was going to hear the whistle, and that takes a lot of pressure off you when you're launching the three, when you know the worst case outcome is you're going to be going to the free throw line to shoot threes. And look at the shot chart right now for Melbourne United.
Hot.
Not as hot as we saw in the southeast Melbourne Phoenix yesterday, but they're on track.
Well, way to dig into the United fans' heart and souls. McGee is into the lineup. He turns it over right away. Make a play, Walker. Go for it.
And why not? Does he get a heat check? He thought about it. Daniels been ultra-aggressive offensively. That time.
See, Drew, right there, that's the difference between being good and great. You got to take a chance there if you're Walker and try and make a play.
Yeah, he's sensing the moment. Good lead coming out of the gates by Melbourne United. And just decides to defer. And there's a foul by Delaney across the arm on McGee, who's handling the point guard duties. Melbourne United and Reece Carter, after a great start, they want to challenge this. Well, to me, there was contact there. And it's light, but the contact's there. So this will be an interesting one to see how the review team judge it. You're very gun-shy after some of your performances last night. But you see Delaney right across the arm. He grabs the arm. I don't know how you could possibly not call it.
Well, we had a great view here. Finn Delaney was confident that it was all ball. We watched him plead to Reece Carter to challenge it. And maybe the young coach just felt a little bit of pressure. And
well, to me, that's a foul. I don't know how you can... I don't know what Finn Delaney's thinking. How did he not know the difference between someone's arm and the ball?
Blatant contact there. And Illawarra will retain possession. United obviously lose the timeout. Again, Drew.
JaVale McGee, who recently learnt that he's going to be joining one of the legends of Australian basketball, CJ Bruton, taking his talents as soon as the season finishes to the CBA, which is the Chinese league, and he's going to be playing with the Beijing Ducks. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with McGee and his long-term.
Do you think we'll see him in the NBL again?
I hope so.
Here he is. They double team him. They go back to him. He's the man. Then he gets it to fall. As I mentioned, he's loved playing Melbourne United this season. You remember back to round 8 when they beat Melbourne United, he had 37 points, 14 rebounds on that occasion. Wouldn't they love something similar from him tonight? As Melbourne will keep possession.
And Doyle checks in. Eyes are on him to see if he can repeat the type of performance he gave United up in Cairns, a match-winning performance.
And they'd love to get Chris Golding going as well. He's struggling with his three ball. Been struggling in his venue as well, his last 6 outings. Hasn't shot it well at all, but we know it doesn't take long. Tyler Harvey
It is, and that was a somewhat of a rush shot for Chris. He hasn't seen a lot of the ball early on and throws one up, and that's going to be Illawarra ball. Good hands by Gritter, and comes off with that hip of Walker. Chris Golding subs out.
Now, Drew, when Illawarra have the basketball, they have a significant size advantage with McGee being defended by Krislovic. Look at the size difference. Get him the basketball, move it, then get it to him. Don't try and force it off the first pass.
And Todd Blanchfield, a veteran, but giving him the point guard duties, I think is somewhat of an example of the issues Illawarra have had this season in that position.
There's Gritter, knocks down the through ball. Yeah, Tatum gone with Gritter and Johnny Narkle. Dave O'Hickey still on the bench.
Well, they double down off of Gritter on the strong side, and he makes them pay.
Walker had a great look at it. This has been a good little run from the Hawks. They were down by 8 after that fast start from United. Now they can tie it all up, and it's Tyler Harvey again, who started nicely. He's got 7 early points.
And you can see how reluctant Krislovic was in that case to come off of McGee. He just allowed Harvey enough space to finish that little floater.
And again, good hands from the Hawks.
Well, this is a thing, the other thing about starting McGee. The matchups with him and Edwards, they're not syncing up at the moment for their normal substitution patterns.
Good point.
Where, to me, if I'm Melbourne United, when McGee's out there, I'd want Edwards, and we've got another challenge early on. Surprisingly so. And if you go back, there was 17 to 8. Reece Carter calls a timeout to challenge, gives the Hawks a chance to settle things down, and they tie things up from there.
Well, Joel comes to the rack, Joey, sorry.
Yep.
Little pressure, and did that come off of Doyle's elbow?
Well, that's what Justin Tatum is arguing. He's called the challenge. They think it should be a Hawks ball, and maybe while they've got that momentum.
Ooh, hard to tell, isn't it?
It is successful. So, good call. Tatum seeing them well, and it's been a good fight back by the Hawks.
Yeah, really good. And another example, what we've seen throughout the course of the season, they just continue to have those patches where they just can't keep the scoreboard ticking over. And the ladder predictor, Joey.
I know Derek goes to bed every night doing the ladder predictor, trying to figure out what it's going to look like. Check out the Mitsubishi Motors ladder predictor via the QR code or at nbl.com.au. Have you got it sorted yet?
Not yet, Joey. But hopefully by this afternoon, Sydney and Perth coming up right after this one, I'll have a clearer indication, and Andrew, I'll put something out on X, letting you know exactly how this season is going to finish.
Oh, McGee just lost the handle. Krislovic might have got a piece of it, but some good hustle from Narkle, and McGee cleans it up. Just like that, the Hawks are in front.
Narkle's been so valuable. He's got a good nose for the basketball, is willing to do anything required out there on the floor.
Reece Carter's gone to the bench. Wilson. Had some nice minutes when they needed him in that game against Cairns, and they started their little run.
Yeah, in the third quarter, Tommy Wilson came on, and he really helped in that comeback.
Good ball movement from United. Krebs, another one who had some really important buckets in that win against Cairns, knocks that down. Harvey's been the man in this first quarter, and he'd be disappointed he missed the layup.
McGee just grabs Krislovic. So this is a good kick-out pass. Wide open shooter, and a good one, particularly when he's got his feet set. Krebs lines it up, nothing but cotton. And Krislovic checks out, Edwards checks in. And we get a Edwards-McGee matchup.
And we also get a behavior warning to Tyler Harvey, who insisted that he was fouled on that drive.
Off and running, Narkle had to foul Edwards.
116. High-paced game early here at JCA. And QJ Peterson will check back in the game. Illawarra just need to just slow it down a little bit now on the offensive end. Past couple of possessions have been somewhat sloppy.
Yeah, it is, and one of the problems when you look at the Illawarra season is Their offense has been up and down, but defensively just giving up too many points per game. They're 10th in the league for opponent points per game this season at 98.
It's a lot of points.
Oh, gee, I'll have to check that twice because that is a lot of points.
United by 2. Peterson probes and in the end finds a lane. And we're all square.
And the driving lanes are there for the Hawks. With McGee on the floor, again, the gravity is so strong, it eliminates the impact of Jesse Edwards and his rim protection.
Both teams shooting at a pretty good clip to start this one. Lost the handle, did Cole Bowen.
Good cut.
Third turnover.
Bad hands.
Yeah, I think he saw the big fella underneath the rim.
That will do it.
Just snatched at it rather than just letting it come to him.
And now Dave O'Hickey checks into the game for the first time. Averaging 13, 6 and 6 on the season. Down low on Wilson. McGee tried to force it back to him. United with the turnover. Here's Doyle. Coming off his second best return of the season, the 25 he had against Cairns. And he knocks that one down. He started well again. 6 points for Milton Doyle as we get another timeout.
Not a great shot there by Doyle. I thought really wasn't open, but that's the talent of the man, right? Now he's 2 of 2 from deep. He's off to a really good start.
Yeah, and great for his confidence as well. Sees a few go in early after one of his better games against the Cairns Taipans when the team needed him most.
Well, pre-game, the Illawarra Hawks, they have done a wonderful job. They've given us inside access to Justin Tatum's pre-game meeting. Let's take a listen.
Stay organized on the offensive end, all right? Stay competitive. 40 minutes, man. Stay competitive for these 40 minutes, man. Have fun while we're doing it, all right? Make winning plays. Make winning plays. Dive on the floor, take charges, do what you need to do, all right? We got 2 more of these things. Let's go out 2-1. Let's go.
We know it's been a tough season for Justin Tatum, but back next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
And he's got a good group of players that are coming back, like Tyler Harvey, Will Hickey, Sam Froling, Wayne Swackle. They've already signed for a number of years, so they still have that core there.
Yep.
Are you confident they can bounce back next year?
Yeah, just the balance that they need. There we see one of the greats of the AFL and Brendan Favola.
With Fifi and Nick, the Fox crew. They've got the Underdogs game at halftime for the kids that are going to have a run around, which is a great experience. The Reebok seats there. You happy with the Hawks? Are you saying next year
well, I think they've got to get the balance right with their squad, which they haven't been able to do this season. They experimented with Dave O'Hickey running the point, and as great as he can be, it's probably not how you get the best out of him.
Edwards turns it over. Good heads-up play from Hickey there to Blanchfield.
Well, that's what you're taught in the under-12s, is when you're falling out of bounds, unless you're 100% sure you know where you're throwing it back in, you're better off letting it go than gambling, because the gamble didn't work for Edwards that last possession.
There's the matchup we wanted to see, the 2 big boppers going at it. McGee wins on that occasion. The Hawks can retake the lead. They trailed by 9 early in this one. Blanchfield stepped out of bounds. 4 turnovers apiece in this first quarter.
Blanchfield's really had an indifferent season after being so important in their championship run last year. Probably a victim of the changing lineups and personnel more than anything else, Andrew.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tom Coppin's getting some minutes. We saw Reece Carter go to his bench in their win against Cairns. All players all get some court time. Krebs, a bit strong on that one, and then out and off and racing. It's Dave O'Hickey with the finish and the foul.
That's the penalty for Krebs when he tried to draw the foul, flopped, and Hickey leaks out, and he compounds it with an and one.
Great job here by Hickey. He knows, get up as quickly as I can with the smaller defender. The contest at the rim really isn't a factor. And contact down low, Hickey goes to the line to shoot 1. Hawks doing a good job, Joey.
And a nice start. Melbourne shooting just dropped away after that fast start. They were 6 of 8 from the field, and now 8 of 18. Now it's been an issue for them since the fever break. Krebs. Going to work on Blanchfield. Tough mid-range, and the Hawks again will look to extend their lead. They have time for a 2-for-1 if they want it. Instead, they'll work through their set. Peterson at the point. Looks to attack and then turns it straight over. And Krebs is out. Swiker Bullock does a pretty good job. In fact, did an excellent job. And now the momentum might be with the Hawks. Peterson knocks it down. And that is a massive 5-point turnaround to finish their quarter. And the Illawarra Hawks, who we know have a good record in this venue, they have taken it up to Melbourne United. There's the defense at one end. Peterson with the finish at the other. He has 8. And the Hawks, well, they lead by 5 at quarter time, thanks to Choice Hotels.
What a beautiful and amazing initiative that we are so excited to welcome those underdogs out to the court at halftime today. But now let's keep that Fox feeling going. All thanks to 1019 The Fox, Melbourne's #1 hit music station. Give it up for DJ T-Bone and get those requests in.
United fans, we're going to need you nice fans. The underdogs game all thanks to 1019 The Fox. So United fans, are you here to support the underdogs? If you are, make some noise right now! Let's keep that energy going into the second quarter, United fans!
Welcome back to John Cain Arena, where United trail by 5 against the Hawks to start the second quarter. I was listening into Reece Carter during the break. He says he's happy with their shooting efforts, but wants them at the doorstep of the Hawks. He likes the pace. Says let's use Jesse more at the post.
Derek, what'd you make of that first quarter?
Well, he wouldn't be happy with their interior defense. The Hawks up 14-4 points in the paint group.
Yeah, for a team that's lauded for their defense traditionally, Melbourne United, it hasn't been great to start this one. And it's not just the 29 points, which is a lot, but it's some of the breakdowns we're seeing on the defensive end is uncharacteristic.
As Milton Doyle puts on a nice move, and he continues on. He's leading the way with 8.
That's classy. Beautiful spin move into paint.
The other thing that's noticeable, both teams played 11 guys in the first quarter.
It's a lot, Drew.
The game's popping. It's getting up and down, but gee, maybe I'm old school, but I personally think it's hard to really get your rhythm when you're coming in and out.
Walker to Edwards, who was fouled.
Peterson disappointed with himself that he wasn't able to strip that ball cleanly. Edwards exposed it perfectly for him. Peterson Jr. with the foul, and Edwards has been deemed to have been shooting that one, Joey, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2 here. The Hawks are disputing it.
Holding me on my way to the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Can we tell him to get a bit more aggressive with his screens? Because on Thursday he fouls out, barely moving. So we're telling him don't move.
Today's a new day.
I don't really
all
have an
we say
answer.
is you can screen and roll, just not at the same time.
One.
You gotta
I'm
stay
talking
playing
about
it on the
extending it like further into the screen. I'm talking about.
We'll look for it.
Makes 1 of 2. He's 3 of 5 to start this one. 64% on the season.
They're just talking about the screen.
Oh, Hickey
that's just
went-
threw it to no one.
Yeah, Peatling wasn't looking. He was going to set the screen.
Yeah, but in that last exchange with Reece Carter, referring to just the on-ball screens, and you heard about how you got to establish pick, then roll. Can't be all in the one motion.
Edwards should like this matchup over Froling. He did a really nice job, and then Delaney couldn't finish. The Hawks are out and running. Hickey always looking to be aggressive. Peatling gives it up to Froling, who has to try and get it over the top of Edwards. Couldn't quite. Now Machar getting some minutes.
Well, it makes 12 guys now for Melbourne United who've seen some court time.
Reece Carter did that as well against Cairns. Love going deep into the bench.
New coach trying to endear himself with the entire team.
There's Miney Swarker, the Bullocks fouled. He'll go to the stripe.
Well, your argument is sound, Andrew. And this time of the season, teams normally like to consolidate their lineups and start to build rhythm with their postseason profile.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps Reece Carter's of the opinion that we don't really have a lineup, and I'm trying to find some combinations that work.
Yeah, that's true. But he's been there the whole time. He's been on alongside Dean. So it's not like he's a fresh coach coming up. He's been there the last 6 seasons with Dean Beckerman. So, and he knows he's only in for a game or two. But I'm sure there's been still a strong collaboration between Dean and Reece on how he wants the game to be played. Apparently Dean was at their shoot-around in their pre-game preparation yesterday. Hello to Dean, and great to hear you're doing well.
He's not at the game, so he'll be watching this at home. Hope you're recovering well, Dean.
Yeah, appendicitis. I think when the drugs were kicking in, he felt like he was good to go, ready to come back. When they just sort of came off the boil a little bit, ooh, I'm a little uncomfortable.
Can you imagine being a coach and watching this at home? It would be
After an appendicitis.
It'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
Yes. A little easier for a veteran like Dean, who's been there, done that, seen it all.
Here's Doyle. Step back, comes up short. Now Peterson. Give it off to Froling. And an uncontested layup, and it's the Hawks' biggest lead of the game. Reece Carter's looking at the referees wanting the foul.
Well, somehow Edwards lost his balance and fell and was unable to provide any resistance at the rim. Hawks up by 7.
Field goal shooting has really dropped away Melbourne United. Luckily for Walker, he's got 11. He and Milton Doyle were really the two offensively in their win against Cairns. And he's continuing on, doing a nice job.
Oh,
and he might have got away with a travel. Points will count anyway.
Michael Aylen is right there, did not budge at all, didn't even think about blowing the whistle.
Oh, there's 3 of them out there, Derek.
And now Walker has it waved away. Points, no basket.
Good.
Have a look here.
That was his pivot foot. Just it.
Yeah, I don't know, Edwards just falls down.
I can't give you an answer.
That's a
I'm on the
nice
other side of the
roll.
floor. I can't see it.
The roll off pass to Froling. Speaking of Sam Froling before the game, and he's not going to play anywhere in the off-season, continue to try and get his body right. And he was telling me that he'd like to lose 10 kilos.
Well, he put on a lot of muscle mass in the off-season.
There's Edwards getting it back. McGee met him at the basket. And the Hawks are off and running. Blanchfield. McGee, too big, and he'd be disappointed not to finish.
Tony Blanchfield I saw him in the pregame. We hit really early from that exact same spot. I reckon he reeled off maybe somewhere between 10 to 15 in a row.
Well, maybe he used them all up.
Maybe because that was a bad miss.
He's such an outstanding shooter. It's surprising to see him struggle like this, Joey.
McGee goes to the stripe. We know about the Harlem Globetrotters coming June, July this year. Coming to a city near you. Make sure you check out where and when. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the legacy. Buy the tickets now. Back to the Sam Froling chat. Put on a lot of bulk. Interesting that he's saying he just wants to trim down for next season.
I can't see where the man loses 10 kilo. That's a lot of weight, but feels like he's not as bouncy as he was last season. I said, do you realise you've just had an Achilles operation? That might have a little bit more to do with it, but he feels that that's going to be the thing he's going to work on in the off-season.
Now, some of the shot selection from Melbourne United hasn't been the best. McGee comes back, fouled on the way up, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Draws the foul against Edwards, and that looks like that will be number 2 on Edwards.
Well, to me, this is not new as far as offensive output. Take away the first 9 games where they were 9-0. Since then, their offensive output has spluttered. Some good times, some bad times, good enough, but just haven't been able to find the consistency. And what has usually been the insurance policy of Melbourne United when their offense is up and down has been defense. It's been hard to score on. But right now, Illawarra, who will not be in the playoffs, is shooting at 52% from the field, and the ease at which they're scoring would be the concern.
That's right. Melbourne led by 9 early in this game, and now they trail by 11, and another turnover. Sparkle Bullock had a look. Instead, Narkle. He had a foot on the line, so it's only a 2, but there are massive concerns for Melbourne United and Reece Carter right now because the Illawarra Hawks are dominating the contest. Some uncharacteristic turnovers. They can't get stops, and they just can't score at the moment. And Justin Tatum will be mighty pleased with what he's seeing as we take a look at the Amy replay.
And Narkle, we mentioned it earlier, has such a great nose for the basketball and broken play. Swakala Bullock does a great job. Narkle knocks down the long 2. Trouble times here for Melbourne United and Andrew in particular, because in recent rounds they've had troubles on the offensive end. How do you peg back this deficit?
It's a lot of heavy lifting to be done and find a way to get some scoring. Chris Golding, he has not been involved at all. He's only had the 1 field goal attempt, and he's been their usual guy that they will go to in these moments where you need buckets.
There are the top 5 scorers at the moment. Tyson Walker doing his bit. Melbourne, though, after going 5 of 7 to start, have gone 5 of 23 from the field since. It's been a concern throughout the second half of the season. They're going to have to try and turn this around. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gase, how are they going to do it?
Again, I think it's got to go through Walker. When they got off to that good start, he was the genesis.
Here he is. Trying to probe his way through. He saw JaVale McGee in the way, so he backs out and then goes second time round. And McGee did enough to affect the shot, although he finds himself in the corner and knocks it down. And Tyson Walker might have to be that man tonight.
And that's positive, Andrew. He understood the moment in the game and realized he had to have an impact. Swakala Bullock, again, poor defense by Melbourne United.
It's the on-ball defense on that occasion. Swakala Bullock just comes off. He's wide open, mid-range.
And Doyle misses.
Got to energize that ball, get it moving.
6 of 16 from deep for United. McGee starting to have some influence. He's already got the 8 points, 6 rebounds. This time he finds Tyler Harvey. And Walker will have to pull it out. Wait for the troops, although then decides to go alone. Why not? He is the man with the hot hand. 16 first half points for Tyson Walker, and he's keeping them in it.
Terrific move got the big man on him, realizes the mismatch, blows by him, and just a beautiful left-hand finish.
And for the life of me, I understand you have a
No.
pattern, but Walker in this most desperate time, he's got the scoreboard ticking over, and they feel that this is the appropriate moment to give him a spell. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
They turn to Tom Wilson. Krebs, Golding, Finn Delaney, and Krislovic, who's trying to guard JaVale McGee. They send the help. Narkle gave up the three. Almost had a slip, and it will be called a travel. Unfortunately, just lost his footing. That's 7 turnovers on the Hawks in this half.
Right idea. Just unfortunately shuffled his feet a little bit. Tyson Walker sitting over there on that bench, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep. 16 points. Ooh.
Delaney gave it up. Golding, can he get his first field goal? He's too strong off the glass. And McGee continuing to have a big influence. Harvey gave it back to Blanchfield. Good ball movement, wide open look, nice finish.
Well, they're moving the ball. It's seemingly, Melbourne, you're playing catch-up almost on every play. They're not able to establish any authority or push the Illawarra Hawks out of any of their actions that they're getting to.
It's back out to an equal game high, 13 points for the Hawks.
Well, right now you can sense it with Melbourne United. They've gone away from their game plan, Andrew, and now they're just trying to scramble, find quick opportunities on the offensive end. They need to get back to what the game plan was. Stay patient, don't panic on the offensive end. Quick shots could lead to easy opportunities for the Illawarra Hawks on the other end.
And almost everything's coming off the dribble. Not a lot of off-ball action right now. That is a tough shot. Wow.
No Walker, no Doyle on the floor. There's 5 out there for Melbourne United. Got to combine 3 points between them. So they're going to have to find some offense as Harvey. Step back. Oh, he's feeling good, Tyler Harvey. How many times have we seen that? He's into double digits.
The anxiety's increased twofold in the building, Drew, since the tip-off.
They were down by 9. They now lead by 16, United. The Hawks, I should say. United are under all sorts of pressure.
Well, let's pay credit to, we look at the replay here. Tommy Wilson, he just tries to hedge and not get beat on the drive, but that's right in Tyler Harvey's sweet spot. But give the Illawarra Hawks a lot of credit for the way they're coming out. Not a lot to play for. Maybe because the shackles are off, they can play with a little bit more freedom, and they're playing with great spirit and showing tremendous character.
Good defense from Cole Bowen. Can they turn it into points at this end? Golding trying to get going, and that'll help. His first points of the afternoon.
Tough move there by Golding. Works his way into the paint, creates a little contact with Greta, and Greta can't resist to try and challenge the basketball and gets Golding across the head. Nice finish. And they needed that bucket just to settle the pace of the game down. As we look at that live ladder, and the reality is Tasmania posed a clear and present danger despite that loss last night to Southeast Melbourne. I thought they played solid basketball against a very good basketball team. A matchup between them and United would be very enthralling.
Well, we're going to see Southeast Melbourne taking on Melbourne United in the last game of the season next Thursday night. So that's worth the price of admission. Still tickets available. So
what are you working for?
Melbourne
You're a ticket broker now?
Well, we want to make sure that we get a full house here. And it's sold out here tonight, but for whatever reason, that game hasn't been selling as well as this one here tonight.
Still plenty to play out, but if they don't win this, Melbourne United almost certain to finish 5th and have that play-in eliminator against Tassie. But there's still time here.
Plenty of time.
And there's a foul.
Plenty of time if they get stops. We've got 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining, and already the Illawarra Hawks with 50. Now, they are one of the better scoring teams in the competition. averaging 92 a game, but that's too many. There's a hit in the head there by Daniels. I don't know what the ooh and an ah is from the Melbourne United fans. What are they watching? Looks like he gets clipped in the head.
No doubt.
Harvey, perfect 4 from 4 from the free throw line. He leads Illawarra with 11 points. QJ Peterson has 10. And JaVale McGee, he's on the floor with 8 and 8 in this first half, and it's all Tyson Walker for Melbourne United with a game high 16. Cole Bowen to Edwards. The two big boys go at it again. This time Edwards got the better of McGee and be frustrated. He wasn't able to finish, but he'll go to the free throw line.
1-0.
We got him off his feet.
Right now, guys,
Head fake.
Hey, 2 shots, fellas. Get lined up.
We got McGee in trouble.
And that's McGee's second foul. Justin Tatum pondering what he should do. Does he come back with Sam Froling? That's a luxury he does have, but McGee is such a presence on the offensive end. It hasn't been a big scoring night or afternoon, but he's been really influential in keeping driving lanes open for his perimeter players.
Edwards has taken 7 of the 9 free throws for Melbourne United. He's knocked down 4 for his 6 points. Opposite 14. Dave O'Hickey really wants the coach's challenge. It'll be Melbourne ball as JaVale McGee will sit.
He doesn't risk it. Dave O'Hickey, that's probably been his Achilles heel this season. Just taking care of the ball.
Offensive rebound from Bowen. Gives them a second look at it. Walker gets it back. Great little two-man play. Good finish. That's better offense from Melbourne United. And Justin Tatum very quickly wants to call a tangerine timeout and talk it over.
And this is more patient, Andrew. They took their time there, worked it, and the result is a nice finish there by Kyle Bowen.
And what a small window he had to make that pass. Excellent feed.
And of course, as always, a big thank you to our major partner, Kmart, helping create these special moments and inspiring the next generation of basketball fans. This time it was Jesse Edwards and Chris Golding going out to one of the schools. How good's that? 23 kids weren't able to stop Jesse Edwards. This is what the NBL players do so well, getting out to the communities, continuing to grow the sport. They're doing a fantastic job.
Oh, that's deep.
CG just showing off in front of the little ones.
Beautiful. Nice.
That was 16 points about a minute or so ago. They get it back to 12. They can get it inside single digits at the half. Melbourne would be pretty pleased to be able to try and talk things over.
Love seeing that when the players get out to the schools. I remember when I was at Eastern Road Primary School, this is in the 70s, and a guy playing for the Melbourne Tigers, his name was Bruce Case, and he came to our school and put on a little clinic on the netball ring because we never had any basketball rings. And I said, I like this guy. What number does this guy wear? He said number 10.
There you go.
He said, I want to wear number 10 and just be like Bruce.
I remember Nigel Purchase coming out to my school games as a kid.
Wow, that's amazing.
Here's Tyler Harvey. And another trouble, so they force another turnover. So just upping the ante on the defensive end, Melbourne.
9 turnovers now for the Hawks. Dave O'Hickey will check in for Peterson Jr. Dean, too late. I don't know what the big deal is there, Andrew.
Oh, Dave O'Hickey's got a tech. He just called the official a joke, and when he didn't get a tech, he said it again, and he still didn't get a tech. So the official gave him 2 free swings at it, but on the third, you need to wear a tech, and rightfully so. I don't need that. Illawarra Hawks are up 12. Nurse this lead into the halftime break. The first thing you need to do is let the emotions get the better of you. When you have the game in your
Well,
your hand.
he lost the opportunity to get back in the game because Tatum decided to go with Narkle.
Not only did he get the technical, then he missed his opportunity to get on the floor, Dave O'Hickey. Now a chance for Melbourne to get it inside single figures. Jesse Edwards crashing the offensive glass, and they do. Get it back to 9.
8 offensive rebounds for United.
Cole Bowen being a menace on the defensive end at the moment, and they've needed that.
I like the substitution, get Peterson back in there, because Peterlee handling the ball up the floor didn't seem like an efficient method of running your offense.
So inside the final minute of this first half. It's been a seesawing contest. The Hawks have taken control of it since early in that first. Melbourne trying to scrap their way back into it. They get another stop. And a good fight back. Bowen sees the matchup. It's in his favour. So he goes straight at QJ Peterson and had a good look but didn't drop. Now Harvey. Peterson gets to the elbow, and there's bodies flying everywhere.
It's a foul call. I think it's going to be Walker, who just kept going through, scrolling. I believe, let's have a look. There it is there. Hook scrolling, and then throwing hooks him.
Do you
So
have a call on the play?
I do not.
I have
Body's coming out of my peripheral.
Yeah, so I have the screening action between Froling and Walker.
Yep.
I have Froling set, and then Walker holds him as he's coming around. So I have a foul.
that's how I saw it. Now after the initial, and he brings him down as well. So.
Please go over there. Double foul. Blue 2, hold. White ball.
It's going to be Illawarra ball.
We'll go to the line to shoot 2. QJ Peterson will, or sorry, well, who are they sending to the line? It should be Sam Froling, correct?
Yeah, it will be Froling.
You got 2 shots.
QJ Peterson being very savvy, trying to sneak in and get those 2. But Froling will go to the line.
Well, you can understand why. Froling's a 57% free throw shooter on the season. So he's thinking, I might have a better chance, but that looked pretty good, that first stroke. What he does, he gets down again like that one. It went in, but they're darts. They're just not quite the arc you need on a free throw to get it, give it a better percentage. Low margin for error with a line drive.
That'll be Melbourne United. Final possession of the half. Trying to get inside that top 4. They have to win this game. They need to finish strong. Down to 5. Walker's been the man of the half. He wants the ball. He wants the moment. And he'll go to the free throw line.
Super aggressive in this first half, and United have desperately needed it. Because without his offensive input, Andrew, it would be a meager scoreline for them.
He's got the 17 points, but I think it's the method in the way you want to get him the ball, and just throwing the ball and having him dance around. Yeah, we've seen some times where that's successful, but I think coming off the on balls, a little bit more ball work off the ball to get it and then attack.
Well, it's comfortably been his best first half of the season. 19 points, a couple of assists. There'll be enough time to get one away.
Well,
McGee comes in. We've seen him do it before, and we watch him pre-game. Always knocks one in from half court. See if they can get it in his hands. He will. As I said, this is what he does. Not on that occasion, but still a pretty convincing first half from the Illawarra Hawks. After trailing by 9 early in that first quarter, they have put together a strong half to lead by 9. An 18-point turnaround off the back of Tyler Harvey's 12. QJ Peterson has 10. JaVale McGee chipping in as well. And Justin Tatum will be happy with what he's seen from his troops. Melbourne United, well, after a hot start, they just hit a little flat patch. They'll have some thinking to do. And we'll get down to Steph Baumgartel, who has Tyler Harvey with her.
certainly do. Tyler, thanks for joining us. United started fast, but it didn't take you too long to find your rhythm. You're in double digits yourself. What did you like about the first half?
I think we won the majority of the 50-50 balls, and those are the ones we've been losing throughout the year. So I think our energy was good. I thought Johnny was a great spark off the bench, so we just got to keep it up for 20 more minutes.
United started to close the gap a little at the end there. What will the message be at the half here?
Yeah, they're a good team. They're going to make runs. It's part of hoops. I think defensively we just have to lock down, follow our scout, and offensively just keep moving the ball.
Go well, thank you. What a start to Sunday hoops here at John Cain Arena. Illawarra 54, United 45. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break to go through the first half.
This is what it's all about, people. This is what it's all about. I need to hear you right now. Underdogs. 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 Make some noise in here. Underdogs. Let's do this. Welcome the Underdogs.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena for a hugely important game of Sunday hoops. Melbourne United looking to push for that fourth spot, while the Hawks look to end their season on a high. At the halftime break, the Hawks are ahead. They're leading by 9 points. It would be a bit of an antsy United locker room at the moment. They've got some work to do if they want to protect their home court. Andrew Gaze and Derek Rucker.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the difference in the three-point field goal attempts alone, and then the makes a very good, efficient performance by the Illawarra Hawks. And the bench points, 23-10 in favour of the Hawks. This is just a game where it just seems like the pressure's off the Hawks. They're playing a little looser, and everyone's coming in with a free mind and able to just perform. And we know they got talent, but this is one of the more better halves we've seen from them in recent times.
Well, they've been very balanced, and they've been so poor on the defensive end. They've come in here, and they've done a good job on United. Offensively, JaVale McGee has 8 points off of only 2 field goal attempts. They haven't been forcing him the basketball, but yet he's been able to have a positive impact on the basketball game.
Well, for Melbourne United, it's Tyson Walker. We have to take a look at his Hungry Jacks highlights. He is absolutely getting it done on both ends.
Well, he's been the driving force for Melbourne United, and were it not for Tyson Walker in this first half, this game would almost be out of hand. They just haven't been able to compile enough players on the offensive end to make a contribution, but he's done it all in the first half, Andrew. I like his efficiency. He's 6 of 10 from the field, got a couple of assists for his 19 points.
Yeah, they're only shooting at 34% in total, which is well below a number where you can be competitive. But that's at one end of the floor, and the other end of the floor giving up 54 points. That is going to be puts a lot of pressure on your offense, and I think you said it spot on in the Tyson Walker. If he's not coming through with those 19 points, this thing could have been almost done at halftime.
Well, what would you like to see United do here to try and push away and get the lead in the second half?
I thought they showed nice vibrancy coming out from the tip, but I thought, Andrew, they started to lose their energy levels as the game went on. And you know why? They played too many people in the first quarter, as you pointed out. 11 players participating in the first quarter is beyond my understanding.
Yeah, and the way in which they find the balance on the offensive end between pushing the ball, taking those early shots in the first 6 and 8 seconds, and what method are you going to go through to get a quality shot in the last 8 seconds? And to me, they've looked anxious, missing some shots they're normally going to make. So this is not easy to turn around, but it is achievable to turn around.
Well, if you thought this was a fun game, we've got an even bigger game coming up after this. The Sydney Kings taking on the Perth Wildcats. It is going to be huge, and that is where we find Joe and Brad.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We are in for an absolute treat here at Kudos Bank Arena this afternoon. 2 of the informed teams of the competition. The Wildcats have won 8 of their last 9. The Kings, as we know, 9 straight. What are you expecting?
Oh, this is going to be great. Big crowd, tops open. People are already starting to come in. You just feel an atmosphere in here, Joe. You know something's going to bubble up. We've got Doolittle. We've got Davis. This is going to be an amazing game.
Well, it certainly is, and we're looking for beauty in this game here, and it's going to go a long way to determining what happens for both these teams. Sydney's still got a little bit of work to solidify a top 2 spot, and the Wildcats, they need to try and keep in that 3rd or 4th spot so they avoid that sudden death elimination game.
Well, it's going to be huge, and there's plenty more to come here this afternoon as well. Can United fight back and get the win? Stay with us. We'll find out just after the break.
Which is better for the environment. And better for our kids. Get the power of responsible time recycling at Type Out.
My school moment was dropped down in the buzzer beater to seal Game 3 of the 2021 championship. There was 34 seconds left on the game clock, 4 seconds left on the shot clock. We're 3 points, everyone's on their feet. Marlo gets a catch on the 45, throws it into John. The shot was able to hit a turnaround fadeaway on the buzzer. Moments like these are what we want fans to do. That was my school moment.
Whether you're starting a fitness journey or a regular gym job, Snap Fitness is a gym that helps you feel your best inside and out. Our 24/7 clubs are supportive and inclusive.
the best equipment, expert trainers, and the community that's with you every step of the way. Move your body, clear your mind, and feel your best every time you step into the gym. Find out more at your local Start Fitness today.
Well, aren't the Allen family smart right now? They got themselves these spot seats that they got upgraded today, all thanks to Wilson Parking. It was so smart of them to get these super spot seats. All they needed to do was go upstairs, have a chat to the Wilson Parking team, and get themselves upgraded. Look at these seats they've got. They're sitting in ice creams, they're hanging out with us. What a blast to have. Make sure you get yourself up to the Wilson Parking van upstairs the next game. You want 3 courtside seats, just like the Allen family.
Back, we've got some wonderful scenes there from halftime with the Underdogs, a great initiative led by the Foxes, Fifi, Fev and Nick, to give deserving children the chance to feel included and celebrated. But joining me to talk a little bit more about it is Fifi herself. Fifi, you couldn't wipe the smile off their faces just then.
Oh, Steph, I've got goosebumps, my hair's standing on end. These little kids, you know, they never get an opportunity to even play sport because kids don't pick them. They don't get out of bed in the morning because they're so scared of being bullied or left out. They've got no friends. Kids don't turn up to their birthday parties. It just breaks me as a parent. And we've met all these parents, and the fact that today, and just getting the chance to run onto John Cain Arena and be celebrated by Melbourne United, the Illawarra Hawks, and this whole crowd has just changed their lives. You know, they've got a spring in their step, and a lot of the parents are saying they're smiling, and they don't smile.
Yeah, hearing the crowd cheering them on must have been so special. Can you talk us through the selection process? They call you up to let you know.
Exactly, and that's such a brave thing to do, because as a parent, you're helpless when your kids are excluded and people don't want to play with them. And when we get to hero them like this, you know, they're all back there swapping phone numbers. They've now got friends for life, and it's the very least we can do. But seriously, for Melbourne United to get behind it, and for the basketball community in general to celebrate these kids. Primary school kids should be having fun.
Yeah.
And today, these kids had fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. As mentioned, it's an absolutely incredible initiative by the Fox.
Fifi, Fev and Nick, the Underdogs. And right now, Melbourne United are the underdogs in this one. And the Hawks this season are 8-2 when they lead at half-time. What do you need to see from Melbourne, Derek, in this second half?
Right here, defensive intensity, first 3 minutes of this third quarter. Drew, this could be real telling, not only for this game, but the rest of this NBL 26 for United.
Yes, spot on, and it's a good play to start with. Alley-oop play, long pass, not necessarily as smooth as you'd like to see, but what a finish. The outcome, spectacular.
Of course, we know the Hawks, their season is done. Playing's out of the equation. They're just playing for pride, and they are playing some inspired basketball. Good play from Peterson to McGee. They're playing free, and they're enjoying the first half as Daniels started aggressive and knocked down a couple of points early. Didn't see as many minutes through that second quarter. Getting the start again here in this half. McGee, this time facilitates back to QJ Peterson.
What a great pass. You could see that coming. As soon as he received the ball, he assessed the way in which, I think it was Walker was guarding him, and he just threaded the needle. Beautiful execution.
His second assist to go with his 10 points and 9 rebounds, JaVale McGee. And here he is off and running, the big fella. And no one try and get in his way. And he's going to go to the free throw line once again.
Well, Tatum electing to start McGee in this second half in the Amy replay. Nice action there. Golding sets the back screen. Walker throws it up for Edwards. And there was a tremendous range, a huge window in which
Yeah.
You're able to pass that ball for Edwards to go up and finish it.
That's right.
But they're struggling to contain McGee. He's already got a lob of his own. And we saw that assist he made. Clanks the front end of 2.
And down the other end, we saw that last shot by Chris Golding. And that's the sort of shot, if he's got things going, he's got a few buckets, him operating with a shake and bake off the dribble, you don't mind it. But when he's 1 of 5 prior to that, I'm sure that's the best look you want to find for him to get him going.
Here's Walker. They will go to Edwards, who continues his great battle against McGee, and they again tangle up and foul.
And that's McGee's 3rd foul. Nice move there by Edwards to get baseline.
Here we go, Jesse. 2.
Coach Tatum didn't like it because it's his 3rd. And it's been one of the things with McGee when he's around the rim.
Thank you. No, let's go,
He
guys.
is one of the best shot blockers, rim protectors. But where it's been a challenge for him in the NBL is coming up higher with guys in on-ball screen situations. Now, that time it was just a one-on-one. You just need to move his feet. But coming away from the basket has been a bit of a challenge for him in the half-court defense.
5 of 9 from the free throw line for Jesse Edwards. Marnie Swarkle the bullet. Just the 3 points. Gets over the top of Chris Golding. And a chance for a 3-point play. Nice finish.
A little bit more developed on the offensive end than he's given credit for. We know he's a very good 3-point shooter, but every now and then you see Wani Swakala-Bullock go to his mid-range game, goes a little bit mid-bully ball on Golding, and then just elevates, dare I say, Kobe style.
Hey.
What?
Please.
Oh, sorry.
The thing that is a little concerning if you're a Melbourne United fan is not that there's any disharmony, but the body language right now with Melbourne United on the floor, it's like they're going through the motions of how you should behave without any great passion with what they're doing.
7 days' time, the Ignite Cup final, the inaugural, on the Gold Coast.
Got here.
Good chance to buy tickets. Scan the QR code. Make sure you check that one out.
Can't wait, Joey.
Breakers, they can win after what we saw from them last night for 3 quarters.
It was a compelling game last night. Bryce Cotton's heroics got the Sixers over the line, but with a little bit more cash on the line, Andrew. I'm sure the Breakers will dig deeper and have a lot more focus.
Tremendous self-injection by you too, Derek, to get yourself involved, slapping fires with one of the candidates for the MVP.
Dapping Bryce Cotton.
Was that a compliment, or are you putting me down? I'm unsure where you're coming from.
No, it's just saying it's tremendous work.
I think it was a bit of both.
Self-inject.
You weren't getting up, were you?
There it is. And
clear foul on Tyler Harvey. Almost got him in a headlock.
He didn't mean to grab him that high, but knew he was going to be beat on the handoff. So almost like a reflex action by Harvey.
Here's Walker. He's single-handedly been the man in the first half. Hasn't scored yet this half. JaVale McGee picks up his 18th double-double of the season. Finds Blanchfield, and he can stroke it. He's knocked down a couple. And it is back to an equal game high, 16 points.
Ominous shot there by Blanchfield in transition.
Can Dash answer at the other end? He can't. JaVale will bring the ball down the floor. 7-foot point guard. Look at him go all the way. And he, again, is having a big influence. 13 and 10.
The talent, the range, the spin move. Illawarra stretching this lead out.
It's a game high 18. Melbourne have got to get something going on offense. Golding senses that.
It's a wrong play to me for Chris Golding. And ISO on the sideline. And he seems a little frustrated, Chris Golding. And I don't know what Edwards is trying to pick up McGee at the center line.
Well, you're creating an opportunity for him, and McGee is talented enough, as he displayed there, to beat Edwards off the dribble.
Here's Doyle off the bench to try and inject some offense.
No basket.
And again, basket's waved away.
No basket. What? 77. Hold.
Again, Melbourne will try and work through their set. Instead, Edwards just goes straight at McGee, who's up for the challenge, and he gives the crowd a bit at the other end. He loved it. He's still loving it.
Look at the replay. This is the talent, athleticism, size, and that's why he's got a gold medal at home, representing the United States, and a handful of NBA championships, playing a significant role. Because a lot of it, things sometimes in basketball, you can't teach. And size, athleticism, wingspan, all on display right there.
And at what point, Andrew, do Melbourne United look at extending their defense up the floor to disrupt this Hawks offense that is clicking right now, shooting it at 56% from the field? And McGee again attacks, draws a foul on Edwards. That's his third.
Well, it's a good point, because you look at the Achilles heel of the Illawarra Hawks for much of the season. It has been their turnover rate, the lack of organisation from the point guard position. And it's an area they've been vulnerable in, but they haven't really been tested in that department this afternoon.
Shooting well from the line tonight, the Hawks, 14 of 17. JaVale McGee is now 5 of 7. 75% free throw shooter on the season. Reece Carter, the interim coach, just trying to figure out a way to get his team back in it. Dean Vickerman at home with the appendicitis issues. Wish him well, and 1 of 2.
JaVale waves the finger to the fans.
Who wants no cheeseburgers? He said no cheeseburgers. Walker, not this time. McGee sits, so Froling comes on fresh. Finds Harvey. Plenty of time. Had a great look.
Let off. United get lucky.
Golding. Wouldn't they love to see this drop? Boy, they needed that, and so did Chris Golding.
Big turnaround there. And that might be the little spark, the ignition that United need to get back in this one. But they got to do something on this end, too.
Here's Blanchfield, who's knocked down a couple of his own. That would have looked good off the hand. Another offensive rebound. Rolling. Patience.
It's got a similar feel to the game you called last night when the Adelaide 36ers down 14 and had to come from behind. The only thing is, I just don't see a Bryce Cotton type out there that can turn it around at the moment. Now, they'll do it in a different way, Melbourne United, as they have all season. They do it more collectively.
And there are the stars of the halftime show. VP, not there, but Nick and Fed. Out of the Reebok influencer seats. With the underdogs and the kids got an opportunity to be out on the court at halftime.
And the Hawks continue to tease this United crowd for burgers. Froling splits a deuce. This offense is too high.
Doyle. Side sit, try and get inside. Forced his way in there. He wanted the foul.
Well, he definitely got fouled, Joey.
Harvey. Now they get it to Froling again. Golding tried to double, and Cleveland did a good job, and they forced the turnover. That's 10 on the Hawks, just 5 for Melbourne United.
It's been interesting to see because it looked awkward. They just called for a travel. But you've seen a lot of those go unwhistled.
Saw Melbourne United get a little bit of momentum late in that second quarter. Can they do it here again in the third? Wilson forced it, no good. They get another chance. Relocates in the corner. And that's short as well. Rolling, hand off to Harvey, who pulls up. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, Tyler Harvey is knocked down. He's second, and he's got 15 for the Hawks.
He's moving really well this afternoon. Looking like championship level Harvey.
Mentioned he's three-ball the last 7 games, almost at 50%. They're going a much more efficient clip at the back end of the season. As has Milton Doyle, not that time. Harvey. There's a wall of Melbourne United defenders. Puts on the little fake, gets it to Froling. He's patient. Narkle, lost the handle. And now Krebs off and running. Good find from Milton Doyle, and Drita almost commits the foul.
That's another thing they can do, is try and get out and create advantages, numerical advantages in offense by pushing the ball up the floor, the early outlet pass. And the best of this season has been the Phoenix. They do that so well. They run the floor and they just get a wave of numbers. And it's hard when you do that, because a lot of the times it's, for some players, you feel like it's wasted running because, well, I'm not going to get it, so I'll just go down with the pace of the ball. But the more you do it, the luckier you get. And it was one of the rare occasions we've seen Melbourne United get out in transition.
Well, at halftime, they had only had 1 point off fast break opportunities.
Margin sits at 14. It was as much as 18 earlier in this quarter. It was 9 at half-time. Peatling. An effort from Froling. Gives a chance for Peterson. Gives it up. Hickey. He didn't want to take the three. Instead, got to the basket and helped himself to a couple.
Smart play. The Hawks have been really selective about when they shoot the 3-ball. As Hickey will be called, got his feet tangled up with Doyle.
You're going back to Walker, spent the last few minutes on the bench, and I think he's got to see this out. You just got to, hey, Walker, you might get tired, but just let him see it out.
There's 21 points. They're 57. Jesse Edwards, the only other Melbourne United player in double digits with 11.
And when you're analyzing offensive performance, you look at United right now, they're shooting 32% from the field, 30% from the 3. And, you know, there's some different elements to good offense. There's skill, there's quality of execution, there's shot selection. What do you think is lacking today, Drew?
Froling. Shot clock inside. Single figures. Hickey. Always looking to attack. And a nice little kiss off the glass.
This is... They've been able to weather any type of mini run that Melbourne United have had.
Doyle trying to create the foul. Instead got the step back. Krebs with the offensive rebound. And Krislovic, he gets it to go and breaks the run of outs. They were 7 of 24 from deep before that one. Oh. Hickey had some nice moments in this quarter. Off the hands, they'll keep possession.
Well, he's finding seams, and you've got to be really careful with Dave O'Hickey. He's slithery with the basketball. He's got good length. Nice passing there to Peterson. What?
And Swaka the Bullock. And a good look at it. Physical at the moment. Stepped out of bounds, Melbourne ball.
And Andrew, we get back to it again. The big difference between finishing 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
And the role you have to partake in that play-in tournament and the difficulty. of getting to the Final Four from that position, the 5th position.
Of course, following this one, we've got a beauty. Sydney Kings hosting the Perth Wildcats, which will certainly shake the top 5 as well. Bodies continue to fly. Bowen and Peatling just exchanged some words.
All right, that's a behaviour warning on Milton.
And a behaviour warning on Milton Doyle, who's also getting fired up.
It was a really tough shot that he tried. Forced one up. He thought he got fouled. The game. Full credit for Illawarra Hawks. We did not know what we were going to get from the Hawks with their season over as far as the playoffs. They're playing with tremendous spirit.
Organization, unity, and balanced productivity throughout their lineup.
Yeah. Was coming off a 26-point loss to Sydney Kings a few nights ago. They look completely different. Peatling got a little hand on it. And the big final 50 seconds to this quarter. Oh, and Hickey left right alone. A defensive breakdown. Reece Carter thought about calling a timeout.
It's not the right time to call a timeout. You only got 40 seconds, so you only got a possession.
He changed his
to
mind.
Go. I think that was more just frustration at seeing a complete breakdown of your defense. And someone missed their assignment on Hickey.
As Walker tries to force it. Got it on the second attempt. And now
hello. I think it was an incidental flash.
Been physical underneath in this quarter. Take a look again. He felt he was pushed, and then Peatling fell over the top.
Yeah, you got to stop it for that with all the sweat on the floor.
All right, hey, I don't care who the player is. I've got to deliberate on the action, not on the name of the player.
Reece Carter, he thought there might have been a knee on the play.
Another quarter in which the Hawks will win, although there's a foul on Sam Froling for the illegal screen.
Yeah, push. Sam Froling wants to flop, but when you extend your arms like that, Derek, it's very hard.
You extend your arm and push him over.
There you go. There you heard it.
Final possession of the quarter for United. Can they get some momentum going into the last change? Walker has been that guy, not that occasion, and that will see out. Again, a quarter, the Illawarra Hawks win. They led by 5 at the first change, 9 at the half, and they extended to 14 points at three-quarter time. Melbourne United have their work cut out for them in front of a packed house at John Cain Arena.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena. A huge final quarter is ahead of us. The Hawks are up to start by 14 points. United with some work to do if they want to protect their home court. I want to know, guys, what do you imagine Dean Vickerman would be yelling at the television right now?
Good question. Andrew, what would Dean Vickerman be yelling at the television right now? If you could get a message to Coach Reece Carter, what do you think it might be?
Well, I think he'd have great appreciation for the challenges that they're facing, but hopefully they can generate some belief, because that's what it's going to take, and it's going to take a superior defensive effort. You've given up a 14-point lead, so realistically, what can you hold the Hawks to? If you think 16 points, well, somehow or other you've got to find 30 plus.
Well, that's what I was thinking, Andrew. The magic number is 93 for Illawarra, and that will require Melbourne United to put up 31. And their highest scoring quarter so far has been 24.
Yeah, maybe the confidence they can look to was their fourth quarter against Cairns, where they did all of a sudden find their rhythm. They got 33 points in that fourth quarter after only having 56 in the first three, and that's a good start. It was Milton Doyle that led the charge in that fourth quarter, and he starts it nicely here.
And the first objective is to get it to a level where you can put a little bit more pressure, scoreboard pressure, on the offense of the Illawarra Hawks.
Golding unlucky, did a good job defensively. Found its way to JaVale McGee, who's just too big and continuing to be a handful.
McGee now 14 points, 11 boards, going back to the line to shoot two. And he's been a handful.
Nice even spread of scores for the Illawarra Hawks. Tyler Harvey with 15. JaVale McGee with 14. Davo Hickey has 11 and QJ Peterson 12. The Canadian 8 from Todd Blanchfield. And you know it's very top heavy for Melbourne United. 36 of their points have come from Jesse Edwards and Tyson Walker. And this time, karma bites him. He smiles and he realises he has given the kids the cheeseburgers. Code word baller. He had a big grin after telling them they weren't so lucky last time. And more importantly for United, he let them off the hook by missing two, and Walker at the other end gets three, and very, very quickly, Justin Tatum calls a tangerine timeout, because in the blink of an eye, Melbourne are back within 9. Tyson Walker now 1 point shy of his career high, the 27 that he had back in round 4 against the Sydney Kings. He's got 26 tonight. And now all of a sudden there is a little bit of momentum and belief.
Now that leads to a margin where you don't have to press so much on either end. Play solid basketball, execute on the offensive end, but most importantly, defend and rebound. Justin Tatum getting his guys organized. A vital play coming out of this timeout.
Come this side. Start to score though, you can run.
Well, a 5-zip run to start this fourth quarter, and all of a sudden there's a bit of energy in the building. And of course, coming up straight after this, there is a huge game that'll shape the top 5. Sydney Kings hosting the Perth Wildcats. So don't go anywhere. That is right after this. But just all of a sudden, there's a little bit of momentum Melbourne's way. Illawarra have had the answers most of the night, as they do right here from Hickey, who had a big third quarter.
He's been terrific. 6 of 7 from the field, 13 points.
After an interesting start, didn't play the first 8 minutes of the game, but he's come on and been very productive.
Edwards lost his footing. Hickey off to the races. Blanchfield. Oh, he's stroking it nicely this afternoon. You said it, Gazy, you saw it in the warm-up, and he's got 11, 3 of 4 from deep.
And what a response after the timeout. They cut it to 9 and go whack, whack. And all of a sudden, Melbourne United are looking up and they're back out to 14.
Hickey again. swat of the bullet. Oh, what a great response from the Hawks. They have gone on an 8-zip run inside a minute after the Justin Tatum timeout, and now it's Coach Carter who calls one himself for Melbourne United.
The Amy replay, Hickey, instrumental, does a good job of finding Blanchfield in transition, and then it's Wani from deep. He says, thank you very much to Harvey. This lead is now out to 17.
And that crowd that were up and about for a short time have just been silenced off the back of the Illawarra Hawks.
Oh, how quick, Joey. 7 straight points. What a turnaround.
Oh, of course, for the Bunnings. Thanks to Bunnings, the Hoopers got closer to the action than ever before. Now the courtside access delivered an epic game day experience, giving the next generation the unforgettable money can't buy moments. The Bunnings courtside access backing the next generation of ballers. There they are. What a great experience for those young boys and girls.
Yeah, another one of the great programs in the NBL. This next game, though, coming up with Sydney and Perth. Well, like the way Perth have been able to work their way through the season. What was it, 4 one-point game losses they've had. So that goes to show how close they could have been if they a bucket here, a bucket there, and they're on top of the ladder with margin.
So a very strong basketball team with excellent size, and some of their younger players have started to develop through the course of the season, and we've had a technical foul. Harvey knocks down the free throw against Tyson Walker, and that's his 4th foul.
And here he is, Tyson Walker. He draws foul of his own. Davo Hickey.
With the troubles of Melbourne United in the latter stage of the season, well, really from about the halfway point. And it's been on show here this afternoon, Derek. Do you see them if they do get in the final? I was of a belief for a long period of time. You see the talent on the floor, the fact they went 9-0, that they'd be a real dangerous proposition in the finals. But on the evidence today, and more recently, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, I said a couple of weeks ago publicly, is that United did not want to face Tasmania in that play-in elimination game. Well, guess what it looks like it's going to be? Melbourne versus Tasmania. And I think the way Tasmania are playing, they could come in here and handle their business.
It's almost certain now to be Melbourne Tassie. As Tyson Walker throws another one up after posting a new career high, 28 points for him tonight. He certainly has done his bit. He just hasn't had many teammates come with him. Illawarra, on the other hand, has been sensational.
Wow.
McGee now an equal leading scorer for the Hawks with 16 points, 13 rebounds. I mentioned coming into it, in the 3 previous meetings against Melbourne, he'd averaged almost 28 points and 12 boards. He's been a menace again. Doyle, this time, got it. They got one last run in the Melbourne.
Yeah. And it's going to be the 3-ball. If somehow or other they can turn around their shooting percentages and get it going from the 3-point line. Might have got away with a travel, Hickey.
Second one. Melbourne bench have thought he's got away with. And now Doyle finds Walker. And Hickey got him high and in the face. Just really going for the ball to try and swat it away, but Walker slow to get to his feet.
And United were fortunate on the other end as that ball spilled out to Harvey. He missed the 3-ball, and a nice whack across the face from Davo Hickey. Gets him on the right side of his face and nose.
Now, they will look at it just to see when there's more in it.
It's the I don't think he intentionally meant it, but it's the downward motion on the arm swinging and any contact to the head is that they're going to have a look at it. He's just trying to block the ball. Now, to me, that's a regular foul.
6, hit, 2 shots.
And that's the way they call it.
That's 2 shots.
Just a regular hands foul, so Walker will go back to the free throw line where he's a perfect 8 of 8 tonight.
And there'll be a substitution for Tyson Walker, provided he knocks this free throw down.
That's his first career 30-point game for Tyson Walker. So well done to him as he comes in. You think just a minute or two. Gazy's shaking his head. He just thinks leave him out there.
Oh no, like, you know, Reece Carter may see a bit of fatigue, or he's probably got an explanation, but given the points and how difficult it has been for Melbourne United to score, I'd run the risk of having him being a little tired as opposed to giving him a minute or two rest.
The Hawks have gifted Melbourne a few with some turnovers, and Justin Tatum wants to call another timeout because this is the little mini run. They get it back to 11. There's still enough time on the clock.
14 turnovers now by the Hawks, and that one hurt. Just allowing this crowd to get into the game slightly, and any positive scoreboard pressure United can apply while Walker is on the bench are huge. I'd imagine he'd probably spend another minute and a half before he's reinserted into the game. And look at this matchup. The Sydney Kings host the Perth Wildcats in game 2 of our doubleheader.
Yeah.
Kudos Bank Arena will be popping, Drewy.
No, looking forward to this one. And unfortunately for the Wildcats, they've got a couple of key pieces not available, but the Sydney Kings, they have just been sensational the last couple of months. Their turnaround has been spectacular.
And I'm sure Kendrick Davis was watching last night, watching Bryce Cotton just put up a 40-piece and wants to keep that MVP conversation going.
Derek slapping fives with Bryce and getting phone calls from Kendrick.
Just acknowledging greatness
yeah,
on both fronts, because these guys have had terrific seasons.
Well,
no, they have.
Yeah. And the Doolittle-Davis matchup this afternoon. John Riley's already put it on the agenda. That's going to be fun. But we've still got 6 minutes of this one to go.
And that's enough time, Joey. That's enough time.
Strap yourselves in. Melbourne, a top 4 spot on the line.
Oh.
And again, every time they've called a timeout, they've had the answers. Spiny Swakala Bullock.
Well, precision, Andrew. Precision execution, get the shot they want in the corner.
Doyle tried to throw the lob for Edwards. McGee got the hand in. Just like the run to start this fourth quarter, the Hawks can snuff it out really quickly. Swakala Bullock again. The points will go his way, I think. McGee almost got a hand on it, but we'll give him 2. And they will go to Swakala Bullock. He's now got 13. So they've got 6 scorers between 11 and 16 points for the Hawks. Great even spread. Yeah, Delaney.
Gee, the possessions after timeouts have been spectacularly good.
Well, in this quarter, Andrew, 13-0. And counting.
Peterson, that's a tough shot. Always going to be a tough ask.
Wow.
Delaney just has it stripped away. It's all starting to fall apart now for Melbourne United. Oh, JaVale McGee continuing to put on highlights. 18 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and a couple of big block shots.
And Drew, we both sensed prior to this game, it was a danger one for Melbourne United. Facing an opponent that enjoys playing against them. And with this big guy out there, anything is possible for the Hawks. And he's just made big play after big play, 6 of 8 from the field.
He's got 8 points off one-on-one shake and bake dribble action, and that was great touch.
It would now be the Hawks would have won 4 of their last 5 against Melbourne United in this venue. For whatever reason, they just find a bit extra. It's been a wonderful team performance. Krebs did a nice job of picking the pocket of Carl Harvey. And they'll finish their season, the Hawks, away to the Tassie Jack Jumpers. And Melbourne United, as you mentioned, guys, you've got that throwdown on Thursday night, which will be a tough ask. McGee gives the fans one more highlight.
Right now, the Beijing Ducks are saying, we're looking forward to your arrival.
Yep. Another dominant display. Walker left alone. Maybe the fatigue setting in. Melbourne United are on track for their worst field goal percentage of the season at 35%. Walker got as good as hands as any player in the competition. Doyle. It's 10 of 30 for United as a team from deep tonight. Fans now understand that a win is almost certainly out of the equation. The Hawks have been magnificent. Doyle continuing to be aggressive.
Hawks just got to execute, keep the ball moving. United will have to take risk, and that should open up opportunities.
Another turnover and another steal. Been the only flaw with the Hawks tonight. 17 turnovers. Melbourne just haven't been able to make them pay often enough.
And Drew, Chris Golding is at the scorer's table as Harvey misses a bomb in transition. And
not anymore, he's not.
Well, I didn't think it was a wise decision to think about putting him back in the game.
Now, unfortunately, this one
is over.
Is gone. And it's for a guy who's been carrying some injuries. I think Reece Carter's made a good call. That's a nice play by JaVale McGee. In air, just a little change of direction. And tucks it in with two hands. Beautiful play by McGee. And I hope that somehow or other we can see him continue his career in the NBL, because he is a fun player to watch when he's in full flight.
McGee. Now, Jesse Edwards pulls down his 8th rebounds.
And Edwards hasn't really been able to get himself going this basketball game. He's got 13 points and 9 boards. But we really haven't felt his presence outside of probably a 10 to 12 minute stretch in the first half. 4 of 10 from the field.
Yeah. Tangerine timeout. Hawks comfortably doing it by 14. And of course, make sure you try and have a go at playing Beat the Coach. If you haven't done it yet, there is still time. Go head-to-head against Damon Lowry. And there's a chance to win the 10,000 end-of-season draw. You can split 5,000 cash and a 5,000 Choice Hotels voucher. Heaps of weekly prizes, including Choice Hotels accommodation vouchers. All you got to do is pick, play, win. And Beat the Coach now at supercoach.com.au. Always take a bit of pride in wiping the smugness of his face when he thinks he can beat everyone. Damon Lowry, he's been very good at it all season, but still prizes there.
He never fails to surprise with some of his predictions and selections, and
he's courageous.
He is, and a lot of people think, oh, he's just doing it for show, but he's not. He does think things through and come to conclusions which he thinks is warranted, but that's the beauty of this game. So many different opinions and judgments that you can make. It's great for conversation, when done respectfully, of course.
Right? Absolutely. I don't want everyone thinking the same way. As Doyle has tried to really lift offensively this last quarter, he's got himself up to 20. It's going to be too little too late, though, you feel, although they are within 11, but almost going to be impossible. They're trying.
Well, this is what I think you were referring to a little earlier on the contest, Derek. this extended defense, gambling a little bit, trapping the offense, and it's full credit for Melbourne United for playing it out.
McGee lost the handle. Shot clock about to expire, so Harvey had to throw up a miracle shot, and instead he gets the foul.
Yes. Tyler Harvey, he's only 4 of 12, 16 points. And he's hit a couple of big threes, 2 of 8.
Hang on.
And given the makeup of the Australian team, the Boomers, I know it's a couple of seasons away, years away before the World Cup and then the Olympic Games, but given the need for perimeter shooting, it's one of those ones you wouldn't completely put a line through. I think it's unlikely, but you wouldn't completely put a line through him that maybe at some stage he might come into consideration for Australian team representation.
Well, you would think the 3 guys would be Matisse Thybulle, Bryce Cotton, and Tyler Harvey, right?
True, but if Bryce is true to his word and Bristol had knocked down a 3, I think that he'd passed on that opportunity. I'm not sure he'd be a candidate, but yeah, he would be ahead. He would be the head of the pack.
McGee wants the lob. He had it right where he wanted it, just lost the handle. He wanted to finish off in spectacular fashion. It might be Hickey that does it instead. And Milton Boyle wasn't going to have a bar of it.
Wow, how is that not called a foul?
That just looked like a swipe.
Well, not only that, there was a push down low with the left hand. Oh wow.
That is
what?
Foul.
Now, that is wild to not be called a foul.
Enough.
You don't make it worse. It's somehow or other. They said
I know what you're doing, enough.
Because they're reviewing it. Cross the arm. There's ball, but he comes across the arm, but it's the push in the back as well. Left hand pushing the hand straight across the arm. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you not know about?
I don't know how that wasn't called.
Oh, okay.
Hickey won't be happy too if they say it's off him and it's a no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's confounded.
There's a bit of fire play between JaVale McGee and Finn Delaney. Everyone's waiting for this to happen. It's going to be a Melbourne ball. So, at least the Hawks. Well, I was going to say I can see the funny side. Justin Tatum, not so much. Just dragging out the inevitable here, and Maurice Carter is going to add to that by calling a timeout. That's a bit of a... And there's still some more words being exchanged between Davo Hickey and the referees, so just lost its way a little bit in the last minute.
Well, 10 points up with 34 seconds to go. You're in a commanding position, but if you try and think of a scenario where you can give this up, getting a couple of tech fouls would be one way.
Well, I think that's what Reece Carter was actually trying to do, is antagonise Davo Hickey to get him to bite, and the referee said to Reece, I know what you're trying to do, just hey, get out of it. But otherwise, unless we've got a Tracy McGrady moment or a Reggie Miller moment, I'm not sure we're going to get 10 points in 34 seconds.
Well, I'm still trying to come to terms with that last play face, to tell you the truth, Joey.
And there's still, and there is a technical foul. So there is a technical foul on the bench.
Just don't need to do that.
No, it was against Davo Hickey.
And that will be number 5 on Hickey.
And he...
It's an accumulation of
That's
bullshit.
his second tech if he had one earlier.
The first one I think they called a bench tech because he technically wasn't on. But here it is, still having a word. And it will be a technical foul. So this whole situation has just lost its way a little bit. Still going to be inevitable that Melbourne will win, but it's just kept everyone waiting a little bit longer. Dawes had a big fourth quarter. He's had 13 in this term. He's got 21. And now the margin is 9, so it's only 3 baskets. Here's the first of them.
Oh.
And he stepped out of bounds. Well, that would have been dramatic. And unfortunately, it was a turnover.
Stepped on the sideline. Have a look at the replay. That'd be that left heel must have... this angle here. Oh, looks like that's a Sean Elliott moment from the 1999 San Antonio Spurs when he had his heels up. It looked like from that angle.
It will be Hawks ball. They're going to come away. Well, Doyle should just hold on for another little second or two, but they will come away eventually with their 12th win of the season. Sydney Kings, Perth Wildcats, not far away. That is going to be a beauty. Still plenty more Hungry Jacks NBL to come. Melbourne will slip to 19 and 13 on the season. Almost.
Coppins and Blogg come back in, and interesting with them, and it's a sign of the time with global basketball, particularly in the United States, where those two guys, well, they're in the hunt for a college opportunity with the money that's on offer over in the United States. So my understanding is that they may not be playing in the NBL 1 competition to make sure that they keep the eligibility.
Yep.
So it's a changing landscape for young kids.
Oh, mate.
Oh, my goodness.
That ball's deflected out of bounds.
Changing landscape for youngsters, and even some that aren't so young, early 20s, and still get some eligibility.
The Hawks notch up 100 points for the 12th time this season. Melbourne concede 100 points for just the 5th time this season. Despite their offensive struggles, they had been able to restrict the opposition, playing some lower scoring games, but Hawks have been far too good. Dash Daniels. And another foul. Well, this last couple of minutes has stretched out for a long period of time.
2 shots. Brisbane not shoot him. Huh? I understand that, but he still hit him in the face. Here we go. In the middle. Stop. Stop. Yep, good job.
Brisbane gets an opportunity just to pad the stats as we have a look at Tyson Walker next to the injured Shea Illy. And that's the X factor, Andrew. If Illy can get healthy in time for the postseason.
Yeah, they need his leadership, and also defensively, he's one of the best in the competition.
Just the 10 games this season, the 33-odd, 4th hamstring. They're hoping to getting back for finals. But today, it was all about the Illawarra Hawks, who came into John Cain Arena, a venue they do not fear. And they took it right up to Melbourne United. And after a slow start, they trailed by 9 midway through the first quarter. They cranked it up. They led at every change. And in the end, they were never really challenged despite a few little mini runs. They win this by 9 points to get their 12th win of the season and make it almost impossible for Melbourne United now to finish inside the top 4.
Yeah, this is a great character game by the Illawarra Hawks. Their season had been snuffed out as we take a look at the player of the game, the footlocker player of the game, JaVale McGee, 22 points, 13 rebounds. He didn't start, but boy, did he have an influence on the contest, and it was a great performance by the Hawks coming into a hostile environment, capacity crowd, and continue the woes of Melbourne United.
Great team performance by the Hawks. 6 players in double figures. Tyson Walker was a lone hand for Melbourne United, but in the end, it wasn't enough. The Hawks, comfortable winners. We'll be back right after this to wrap it all up.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Well, the Illawarra Hawks coming into this had lost 4 of their last 5, but they produced one of their best performances to run out 9-point winners. They led by 5 in the first change, 9 at the half. They extended that to 14 points at three-quarter time and run out 9-point winners, 100-91. JaVale McGee, the Footlocker player of the game, with an 18th double-double. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze. We look at the match stats. What did you make of it?
Well, 36% by Melbourne United. It's going to be tough. Puts a lot of pressure on your defence, and their defence was poor because they gave up 52% from the field. So they have well and truly lost their mojo. There's something missing from this Melbourne United group, and they're running out of time to get it together.
And they gave up a lot of points in the paint, and bench points to Illawarra were decisive. And concerning signs for Melbourne United as they go into the throwdown next week with the slight chance of trying to get that 4th spot.
Now we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder and what that means for Melbourne United. They will stay in 5th spot. It's going to make it awfully hard, almost impossible now to get into the top 4. And there's a big game coming up right after this, the Sydney Kings and Perth Wildcats. And that'll wrap us up from John Cain Arena. Thank you to Steph Baumgartel, Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker, and all the team behind the scenes. The Hawks cause the upset in Melbourne.